To be going live with some incredible information on how some of the earth changes, the ascension energies, some of the upheavals and the shifts we're seeing on our planet could be affecting our bodies, but most notably our nervous systems. And if you know anything about biology, our nervous system actually informs and connects to nearly every part of our body. So if you've been feeling like some of the changes of our time, some of the disharmony or the collective chaos, the things that humanity is moving through, if you feel like it's been affecting you, maybe in a way that you don't want, you're going to want to tune in today. We're going to be opening the door to not only what's happening, what it means, where we may be going, how you can actually begin to realign your body and move into this beautiful realignment of yourself. And today we've got an amazing guest, Hilary Fay, who's with us. She's going to be sharing how we can actually access some crystal chamber energy technology to receive living crystalline light frequency. Now, I got to say this, if you've been in the world of ascension, awakening, transformation, you've probably heard that we are moving to potentially a more crystalline DNA. And a lot of greats have talked about this throughout time. I do believe it's happening. I do believe we're coming more light-filled. So if we want to amplify that process, we want to tune in, we want to clear out, and we want to tune into our own vibration. So we're going to be doing a process called recalibrate and regenerate and optimize your vagus nerve in the crystal chambers. And our guest today is Hilary Fay. She's a renowned energy healer, spiritual mentor, teacher of teachers. She spent 20 years guiding thousands of people through deep healing, transformation, and self-mastery, working directly with higher Arcturian masters. And she actually channels high-frequency healing codes to recalibrate the nervous system and to release stored trauma at a cellular level. Now, here's what's interesting. She actually had to overcome her own challenges. And we're going to talk about what she was going through in her own body until she realized what was going on energetically. And she had a very challenging experience, but it shifted once she understood these tools. And I think these tools can help you shift as well. The other thing we're going to be dealing with is higher dimensional help. This is going to get pretty wild. So get ready. You're going to feel some energies. And Hilary's with us. I want to share one story. One person said, for months, I literally struggled with intense lower back discomfort and even SI joint discomfort. No treatment was able to fix it. After working with Hilary and experiencing the Arcturian Crystal Chambers, I felt a shift. Everything that lingered eased, and I could finally move again. Now, everyone is different, but we want to bring in some energy of calm, some energy of peace, some energy of awakening, and some energy shifts. So Hilary, thanks for being here and coming back. Welcome back to Youth Revolution.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me. And yes, this whole time, so much energy is already coming through. Even when we're in the conversation, I have one hand on my big lapis lazuli crystal and then my other hand on my Lemurian quartz. So I am beaming so much healing energy to everybody throughout this whole call and really, really thrilled to be here talking about this. It's such an important topic.
And one of the things I love about your sessions on our show is people start feeling the energy. I mean, you mentioned those crystals, you bring forth a vibration with your voice, and it starts to feel like, well, wait a minute, we're kind of moving into a different realm here. We're moving into a different frequency set point. Tell me a little bit about this idea of energy and energy coming through and shifting humanity. For people new that may not understand what's happening, how do you see that, first of all?
I'm shown all the time that we have so much support from the angelic kingdoms, from the ascended masters, from the higher dimensional benevolent star beings, that there are teams and teams of thousands and thousands of beings of light who are intentionally helping to support humanity, and that we have the option in every moment to tune into that. My Arcturian guides, who are the most advanced spiritually and technologically in our galaxy, they're the keepers of pure spirit and higher consciousness. They always share with me that they are one with us, and in every moment we have that opportunity to step into oneness with them and really receive the support from what are like our aunts and uncles who have really gone through the ascension process and are deeply dedicated to help humanity, because they know and understand how much so many of us have been suffering, especially through these past 5 to 6 years.
You have an amazing story, and I want to circle back to the Arcturians in a moment because some people may not understand that, but you have an amazing story. Your own life was not untouched by some illness and degeneration. You experienced some things at a young age that I think might have really been difficult for most people to overcome. Take us back. What was going on in your life and in your world years ago?
Yes, I feel that the first 17 years of my life, I moved out on my own when I was 17 years old, but the first 17 was like a trial by fire. And I experienced so much deep trauma and abuse, moving around all the time, going to 15 schools before I started high school, moving 8 states, dealing with a lot of nervous system and hormonal challenges that
Oh,
by the time I was probably 19 years old, my nervous system was so overwhelmed and fried from all of the abuse I experienced, from all of the traumatic circumstances with both of my parents, that I suffered really, really deep depression that I thought I would not recover from. And when I made that choice that I needed to find a way to heal, things really started to shift in my life. And I love holding space for others in that and really holding deep love because I don't want anyone to feel how I used to feel, which was that I had nobody, no help, no support. I was suffering completely alone. And now I realize that even though I went through a lot of challenges, even though many of us are going through deep challenges, that we do have that support. And that's what today is really all about.
tell me what was happening in your body if you feel comfortable. I mean, you were dealing with breakdowns. It sounds like there was stress with your parents. Where did this stress go? Did it land in your body? Did it stay in certain areas? And how did it affect you? What did you start to see change in how your body was functioning?
Yes, I definitely, along my entire spinal column, had so much deep tension, many
Mm,
traumatic memories stored around my spinal column, my entire nervous system. I just felt like at that point, like I couldn't even handle or function with life. Like so much had been put on me that my nervous system was absolutely overloaded. My heart was shut down. I was in a lot of pain physically. And it was really when I began working more deeply with the Arcturians, which we'll talk more about, that when I started receiving what is called this nervous system regeneration or this neural renewal, that I started to feel a freedom in my body again. I started to feel this sense that I was connected, that I could be myself, really brought back a sense of what I would say deep safety and freedom from a place of feeling really frozen. Because one of the nervous system responses is that freeze response. And I believe I was very frozen, and that deep freeze, that deep fear can really lead to depression and a lot of other things. And I'm what I experience and what I want to hold space for everyone to experience is this deep renewal of the nerves, of the neural cells, of all parts of us so that we can really become who we truly are again.
mm, amazing. And when you started shifting into this and getting this information, what happened in you in your body? What was your experience? How did things begin to unwind or shift?
One experience, there are kind of three layers to the healing process, and everyone will experience it in the transmission as well. But the first one was a lot of clearing and releasing, working with the first frequencies. I felt almost a shedding or a shedding and at the same time an unburdening. I used to feel like I had like rocks and boulders
Yeah.
all down my spine. And then also with the second frequency, we're going to work with in this neural renewal a deep sense of being rebirthed back into myself. And then the third energetic frequency really brings a lot of regeneration, where after that I felt like I could handle life again. Like
Mm.
like
Mm.
even though there may be challenges in life that I could handle it. And those are I'll explain more, but those are some of the frequencies that we work with where we can clear a lot of old trauma. I experienced a lot of old trauma being cleared out of my nervous system from this lifetime and other lifetimes. I was shown parallel realities, other lifetimes through all dimensions. It's a truly freeing experience.
Wow. There is so much I want to unpack here, because it's not only just kind of what we maybe went through in this lifetime, it's also things like you said in other lifetimes. But then it's also these different layers where we could be storing years of anxiety, overwhelm, pain, trauma in our body somewhere. And this causing a propensity for a breakdown. And most of the world or friends and family, oh, just get over it or just move on. But it's not always that simple. And we're going to talk about how you're seeing this unwind in people. Now, what's interesting about your story, I think will blow a lot of people away, is you started getting, if you will, contact, to put it in one term, from a source that wanted to accelerate this process for humanity. There was a bigger reason, a bigger purpose that we have to be able to unwind and renew and kind of move into this neural renewal, like we talked about, because in this renewal, there's like a whole other world, a whole other dimension waiting for us. Who and what started contacting you, and explain a little bit about that?
Yes. When I had taken a break from doing one-on-one sessions, and this was over maybe 5, 6 years ago now. And when I started working with some clients again on Zoom, immediately into the session, these cosmic beings, these higher dimensional benevolent star beings called the Arcturians, and the Arcturians are from our local Milky Way galaxy. They're from the orange giant star called Arcturus. They really are the most highly loving, joyful, benevolent. They're the most advanced technologically and spiritually. They would come into the session and start sharing how the recipient of the session, how myself, and how humanity really needed this nervous system regeneration, a renewal of our neural cells, and how through the pandemic and all of these political changes, all of these weather incidences, all of the
Yes.
5G, all of the intensity of also being connected to everything that's going on in the world. I was even thinking how at other times in humanity's history, we were just more aware of what was going on in our local village. We didn't have the ability to be plugged in and tuned to and aware of everything happening around the world. Also, we didn't have the ability where anybody could just contact us at any time. Even 100 years ago, 50 years ago, before phones, you really were only interacting with the people with you. And I could literally list 1,000 things that have affected the nervous systems of humanity, even including what I was shown is certain control forces that pollute the environment and that do not have the highest intention for humanity, and how many factors had come together that had really frayed, worn thin, kind of clogged up or blocked the functioning of humanity's nervous system. And in this process, what I was shown is that the Arcturians really wanted to help humanity with this. They actually were aware that our nervous systems are one of the key factors to our ascension. And ascension really is embodying who you are as an eternal being of light. So it's like a calling in of your multidimensional light body and embodying it physically. And they taught me this process, which they said would be the most important process that they would ever teach me on how we can renew our nervous system so that we can be in this responsive state and clear out a lot of this deep programming where people can get stuck in the sympathetic response of fight or flight, or get stuck in a pattern of feeling like you have to people please and fawn
Yes.
other people, or stuck feeling frozen, and how this healing technology within the crystal chamber consciousness can really help us come back to ourself, release the interference so that we can have the choice and feel that deeper connection to higher consciousness and our own healing journey.
That is so interesting. You shared that this was the first area that they contacted you on. So this seemed to be kind of like the maybe most pivotal or the first big thing that was. Tell me about that. And I always ask you this question. These beings that reach out to you, the Arcturians, why would they want to help? Why would the Arcturians be interested in me or with some of the listeners here? Why would they want to help humanity on this evolutionary path? What's in it for them?
They are very, very interested in humanity because many of us actually are Arcturian star seeds. Many of us have been their brothers, sisters. Maybe the Arcturian who's connecting with us is our Arcturian grandmother, Arcturian father. Many of us are star seeds. So we have had incarnations in the star civilizations, such as the Pleiades, as a Syrian, as a Lyran, as an Arcturian, as an Andromedan. So we have known these beings before, and these beings really know us. The Arcturians, particularly all of the other star civilizations, star beings that I just mentioned, they look up to the Arcturians because they are the highest dimensional, the most one with source consciousness. They're the keepers of pure spirit. So in that oneness with source consciousness, they are one with all and aware of all. And again, they are aware of the deep suffering that humanity is experiencing at this time. And they are holding space and in certain ways downloading through their crystalline technology, through their living light technology, the frequencies that will support humanity in our ascension process. And they want us to go through this process as naturally as possible, but they're aware of the other interferences of maybe governmental systems, of certain systems who want to control humanity, who do not want humanity to be healthy and free. These systems of the pharmacy and the medication and the medical systems, and how they are not always the most supportive systems for humanity. They are not as holistic. And 100% they showed me that the nervous system is the key, because when we're constantly in that sympathetic mode, we're
And
really
sympathetic is which one? Is that the stressed mode, like we're fight
yes.
or flight? Okay. Okay.
The sympathetic, so the two main modes within the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic mode is when we're in our fight or flight response. It's when we're stressed, it's when we're overwhelmed, it's when maybe the programs and the ego consciousness have taken control of us. The parasympathetic mode is the counterbalance to that, where it's the body's innate healing ability. Within the parasympathetic mode, we return to breath coherence, we return to heart coherence, the body digests. In sympathetic, in that stress state, all of these functions are shut down in so many ways. So that parasympathetic is where the body renews and heals itself with its intelligence. And when we're in that mode, we're also able to meditate, commune, connect with higher consciousness, receive those frequencies.
Yes.
And that's why the Arcturians really wanted to help us find that deeper balance, to help release a lot of these interferences so that we can be in our truer essence.
Yeah, I thought it very interesting, Hillary. You said receive those frequencies, because that kept flashing kind of in my awareness, was when we're in this stressed out state, this place of fight or flight constantly, this sympathetic, oh my gosh, we're not connecting in to these higher realms, this higher wisdom. We're not getting that state of download. We're like locked up. And if you were trying to make people sicker, if you were trying to shorten lifespans, if you were trying to have body breakdown where chronic stress, energy metabolism, energy depletion, nerve flow, nerve function would break down, all sorts of other things would happen where the body wouldn't be able to use its natural immunity to keep itself well and fight off dis-ease. That was your goal. You would want people in a state where they were constantly in a state of panic, fight, or flight, because the body would not be able to do what it's naturally, organically, and healthily designed to do. And so, yes, that state is not healthy. It also locks us into lower vibrational consciousness. If you think about everyone here, I'm sure you probably heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, that pyramid is like when you're hungry, when you're trying to survive, you don't ponder, what's your purpose on the planet? How can I serve my fellow human being? You're just trying to eat. You're just trying to run away from that thing trying to harm you. So you stay in this survival mode. And if, we live through things like COVID and all these other things, that was a big energy that was out there. And we really, really want to move out of that. Now, Hillary, one of the things that you've noticed is the bodies are not necessarily super happy with all this stuff right now. What is coming into the bodies that you come in contact with as an energy worker? As you plug in, what are you seeing happening? What are some of the things that people are reporting as maybe potential breakdowns?
That's such a great question. A lot of it is anxiety, overwhelm, brain fog, not having any energy, feeling incredibly stressed. And what I'm being shown is causing that. One, this collective ascension process of Mother Earth, of Gaia, of each one of us individually is really on its way. And the energy is in motion. And a part of that, stepping into the truth of who we are and embodying who we are as eternal beings of light, is shedding all of the untruth. A lot of this cellular debris, emotional debris, traumatic energy. So one of the main things that people are feeling overwhelmed by is the intensity of the collective ascension process. And many of you listening are very empathic beings. So this purging that we are experiencing individually, this purging that is happening collectively, our nervous systems can be sensitive to that.
Yes.
Also, the frequencies of toxins in the water, toxins in the food, the 5G, what the sprays in the sky, and all of it kind of comes together.
Those are condensation trails.
I know. My friend one time messaged me, said, "It's a great day, no sprays." There are no
No.
sprays today, but they're not that many days I experienced
I
without the
know.
sprays.
We had a little while when all that funding shut down. I looked, I was like, oh my God, they're not doing it anymore. They cut the funding. And then some other program came online or whatever, and they started doing it again. It's crazy. But yeah, it sounds like the bodies are trying to move through this, but they're having a hard time. Now, what's interesting is you did this with hormones last season, and you have some incredible stories. This time, you've been using something pretty unique that we talked about last time. Tell us about it. And maybe for those that are new, how it actually works, because there is, if you think about crystals and you think about the vibration of crystals have a vibration. You put a bunch of crystals, around you, you tend to mirror or match that vibration. Just like if you're around a real negative person, you're going to kind of get in the dumps unless you get away. If you get around crystals or certain frequencies, you begin to entrain to that. You kind of begin to align to that. It's like you could have two dogs sleeping next to each other, and they start to like basically breathe up and down and inhale and exhale at the same time. But tell me about some of the energy work and the crystalline work that you've started to uncover.
Oh, thank you. And that's very wise of you because it's true. Humanity can have very frenetic energy or dissonant energy unless we're in the parasympathetic mode of the nervous system and we're really connecting to our soul essence and the higher consciousness. But crystals, on the other hand, are harmonic energy. So that is why when we're connecting to crystalline consciousness, we can entrain with this harmonic energy. The Arcturians really know this. They are the master healers of our galaxy and master crystal healers. So they have many crystalline temples on the orange giant, the star Arcturus, in our Milky Way galaxy. Secondly, they also have a fleet of what would be called light ships. The ships are not made of solid material like plastic or metal. They are made of higher consciousness and they are crystalline powered, often powered by moldavite crystal, which is a very powerful crystal. So what the Arcturians do is within these, let's say, light ships, they have crystal chamber consciousness and they have crystals that they have coded and programmed to support Earth and humanity. So at all times, the Arcturians are beaming crystal, living, liquid, harmonic light, especially into the power centers of Earth, like Mount Shasta or Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, the pyramids of Giza. And when this crystalline light enters into these power centers, it moves through the ley lines, the energetic lines of Earth. That's one
Yeah.
way. The second way is that they've made their crystal chamber consciousness available to us. And there are specific crystal chambers, such as the crystal chamber for nervous system regeneration, for neural renewal. And there are two ways we can access it. One, we can astral travel directly into the starship and enter the crystal chamber. But the way that they've made it even easier, because they spend a lot of their time beaming down really high vibration, crystalline, liquid light, harmonic light, is that they have the ability to beam down what are holographic fields of the crystal chamber consciousness. So a holographic field of living crystalline harmonic light, and they can surround us in these holographic fields of light. And that's the way that they prefer. They really want to bring their higher technology to us. And the second that we are in these holographic fields of light, which they are starting to anchor around all of us now,
Oh,
when we
wow.
get to attune to that frequency, the energy moves through the 7 layers of our aura, and the crystalline consciousness is so charged with healing energy that it starts going exactly where we need healing the most.
Wow. All right. We're going to start to feel this and more as you mentioned that. I started feeling it. And anyone that's listening in on any of the live streams, we're going to cut the feed. Definitely, you're going to want to check out UL's Revolution and check out what Hillary is doing. So check the link in the description. I'm going to send those folks in the live stream off in love. And